Hey everybody! Due to technical issues I can only play on 3 tables and it's a bit too little for me because I'm used to go for 9. So what I'm going to do at the same time is whenever I don't have any actions, I am gonna show you how I study my game and how you should learn from my study method. So first of all, when people study the game, they do it way too passively. They don't take notes and they don't read their notes again. So first thing first, we're gonna dedicate a document to take notes. At first, I used to do a Word document, and it got super long because there were like up to 500 notes in it. And going through the notes during my warm-up was really long and boring. And so now I'm using Anki, which is, you probably heard about it. It's flashcards. It's a flashcard thing where this is, for example, how I have my flashcard. So this flashcard, when I have a bad session, there's only five elements that list for bad sessions. So now I need to think about it. It's basically like a question. So five reasons why I have a bad session. No meditation before, no warm-up. Too long, too many table, not too emotional, and not aware of the feeling of fighting. So now I'm reviewing. All right, I nailed the 5 of them. I evaluate myself. Next flashcard. So this is a great tool. But there's any other tools. There's also other softwares for flashcards. You got to do it. That's the way to study. I'm gonna stop my ranting because we have a 2 pair on the flop against someone who's a bit aggressive and he's seen me doing some bluff, but I don't want to go small here. It's a fish, first of all, so we just play our hand. If I know he's gonna check raise me way too much, if he's basically a maniac, I would go too big blind here. But here the board is drawy and connected. There's a lot of draw, so we're just gonna go for a big c bet. If he fold, we don't care. That's just the way to go. As soon as we don't have any hands, what I'm gonna do when I'm studying my game is, there's many ways to study your game, but one way I'm doing that I really like is I'm watching somebody, like a player who's better than me, playing games, and I'm gonna pause before each action. I'm gonna think about what I'm gonna do in his shoes, and I'm gonna see what he does, and I'm gonna learn from him. I stop now. King suited. We have a hand. The guy who opened is a bit neat, so I'm not gonna 3-bet a lot, and I'm gonna 3-bet kind of mergy and not really go very polarized, I think. But this hand is just good enough. Earlier I just flatted ace queen offsuit. I don't know which one is the best to 3-bet or to not 3-bet. Yeah, we get 4-bet. So we got hit. We got slapped on the finger. We have to obviously fold. That's a need. So he's never gonna have a 4-bet bluff. So we're folding. We're showing. Obviously he can show something. We never know. Here we're against a fish. Against a fish, we need to check flop these hands. The idea is that they're gonna start to overbluff turn. That's not the best turn because now when they're bluffing, I have to call, but they definitely have stuffs now, and that's a good river. Ace 9, we use a raise. That's a reg, but he's limping, which is fine. When you have a table with a lot of fish, you should definitely limp. And now I'm gonna raise, and I'm probably gonna go all in, and I basically beat almost every 2 pairs. I lose to some straight, but that's all. I guess the reg on this board, I can check raise, I can bet. He apparently had a good hand. He had a slightly better 2 pair, but yeah, he started betting turn with ace 8, as you can see. So yeah, that's why we go for checking on flop. Turn, we have a straight. I'm gonna check raise. I think that I can put a 9x in a very annoying spot here, and I can also I think it's gonna overbluff here. Now we're gonna go for a big raise. He does he have jack 9? He has jack 9, obviously, because he's limped. He's not gonna limp fold jack 9, but it's only 3 combos. All right, turn. He folded, but that's great because that's great. It's not great, but we don't really want to see the river a lot. We're happy to just stack off here. King queen on the turn. He's stabbing. He's a bit bluffy. But I think I just have to count my outs. I don't have that many out because some out are not clean. If the reverse is the 9 of club or 9 of spade, I have a straight, but I lose to a flush, so we're just gonna fold. And we don't have hands. Actually, we do. We have 7s. But I'm gonna see what he does. So under the gun open, and he flatted with Jack 5 suited, which is definitely fine when under the gun open 2 big blind. If you open 2.5 big blind, it's 100% a fold. So this is the crazy thing, by the way, when you look at it. When under the gun open 2.5, you're not even calling Jack 7 suited, but when he's opening to 2 big blind, and suddenly it's a whole new story. Suddenly you just call even Jack 4 suited. So yeah, that's kind of sick. We have a hand. He's a stabbing pot in a multi-way. It's 2 red flags, and so I'm not gonna hero call. If he was a smaller sizing and he was heads up, that would be the easiest call in the world, and I would probably even call river. But here, nope. Since we've seen him being a bit aggressive, we're just gonna call. We're not gonna raise. The queen is gonna stop bluffing a fair amount, and if he had pocket 5, pocket deuce, pocket 3, he's probably not gonna bet anymore. So maybe I could have donk here, but you know, when I donk, there's just so few cards that can call me. So I'm not sure what is the best. Okay, so Jack 5. What do we do? Okay, let's see. Let's think about under the gun. What does under the gun is meant to do here? It's a pretty. I mean, it's not a horrible board for under the gun for sure. Under the gun is still happy, but he has to be careful. You definitely can't bet pocket 10 here, pocket 8, pocket 9, pocket 6s. There's so many cards you want to check here. Ace queen, ace king. So you're gonna have some bet and some check. Now, coming to sizings, I don't think we can bet big here. I think it's small bet or check. I'm gonna look at it. If I'm wrong, I'm gonna take a note and add it to my flashcards. That's what I'm doing. So even if another gun didn't even bet on the video, I don't care. I just want to see what other gun is meant to do here. To me, it's small bet. I was wrong. It's not small bet. It's actually between B50 and B75, which means basically it's B66. Queen 9 we're opening. Okay, I thought that on this board. Yeah, let's see how we play the turn, would you? Let's see how we're meant to play the turn. I guess on the turn we have to do a lot of checking now, because I mean the board is not that good for us. Yeah, but actually he doesn't check raise Jack 5, but yeah. Queen 9, he 3-bets so small. There is the 7-2 offsuit rule. It's a fish. It's a crying call. It's just because it's a fish that I'm calling, but I'm really, really crying. You can't see my face, but believe me, there are tears rolling down my cheeks. But that's great. We heads up the awesome on the board. That is cool. That is good for us with 2 over in the backdoor flush. He's betting big, so we're not going to fold, but we're not going to raise. Basically, that's the biggest point. He's still thinking about it. Now we have a double gutter, right? 7 and 10. Let's make him fold ace king and 7 deuce, because there's 7 deuce. Actually 7 deuce might call, but the cool thing is that if 7 deuce call, I actually win on the river because I have queen high. And he bet big on the flop. Would he bet ace king big on the flop? Maybe not. I don't think he have ace king that often actually. He could have 10s or 9s, but he doesn't really 3-bet 10s or 9s that often with 3% 3-bet. Since he has 3% 3-bet and 7-12 suit is so many combo, I'm just pretty sure he has it. He could also have maybe some king 10, queen 10, but once again, he doesn't really 3-bet these hands. Anyway, we took it down. On the turn, we took a non-GTO sizing because we're not meant to go big on the turn. It's just we're meant to block, pretty sure. But yeah, here we are just gonna overbet turn. Basically, if I overbet turn, I don't bluff river anymore. And if I overbet turn and he call, he has a very strong hand now. And when I hit, I'm basically gonna stack him off. So it's really cool. Now see, there's no point bluffing. Pretty sure. And it's a fish. I'm giving up. I'm giving up because he called the overbet, and so he really filtered his range. His range is so much stronger now. So yeah, I don't think this would fall to the river if I jam. I mean, he shouldn't in theory. Now would he do it? But he's a bit sticky. No, but that's great. The really cool thing about overbetting was very good draw on this kind of boards. Of course, we don't care about GTO and shit. We're playing against fish. It's just that if we get called, we know he has a good hand, so we don't need to bluff anymore because he's just losing money now because his range is so strong. He's not going to overfold when we're bluffing. And also, if he's calling and we hit, we know that now we can just win a giant pot because we know he has a strong hand since he called the overbet. The only thing is we have to be careful when we overbet turn to not get jammed on. Now my Jack 10 wouldn't be, I mean, it would definitely be sad to be jammed on here because I have 15 outs, something like that. Anyway, so I'm looking back at the Jack 7-5 two-tone, bet, call, turn, break. Big blind has no donk on the break, and another gun should do so much checking now, no? No, not even, okay. Well, I mean, it makes sense that when we go half pot on the flop, big blind is gonna always check raise 2 pair plus. Even some good jacks, so now basically queens is the nuts, and we can play for stacks with queens. That's why we go for a big overbet turn. Okay, I was a bit surprised. I thought that Jack, I thought that 7-5 starts to be too good for big blind. Maybe not. Maybe if I put 6-5, that's when it starts to be very icky for in position. Maybe not. Not even. Okay, we have a note. We are gonna take a note, and that's great. We learned something. I learned something, and hopefully you learned something too. So, I'm gonna take this. Open Enki. Where is Enki? Why it's gone? 7-4 we're folding obviously. And 6-3 I'm not gonna squeeze, and I'm not gonna flat, even though I have 2 fish behind. Come on, it's 6-3 suited, you know. Ace 8. Why not going for a little value raise? I mean, that's definitely value when he has 46% VP. He's gonna call me with like King 7 offsuit, so yeah. We hit an ace, but we don't have 3 streets of value, and when we check here, fish just start betting turn with any 4, any 3. Okay, he checked fast. I'm gonna go half, and then we're gonna go something like that. I can't go much bigger because it's so hard to get called by worst now since the 4 paired. If the turn was like a 6 or a 9, or then suddenly he has so many 1 pair hands, and it's just so much better. All right, so under the gun versus big blind. PTG flop strat question mark, and the answer is gonna be, can I do sniping please? Thank you. The answer is this. Up a new note, and I'm writing B66 or check plus overbet turn queens plus, actually maybe even ace jack should be overbetting turn on bricks. Obviously if the turn is not a brick, it's another story. Let's just double check. Yeah, so it's ace jack plus on the turn obviously, because since our opponent doesn't have queens and check raise ace jack very often on the flop, ace jack is the nut, and can we stack off? That would be cool to stack off with ace jack on the break. Which card is a break? 8, 9, I mean, yeah, right, so an 8 and a 9 is a break because you never call 8, 9. Do we have hands? We have 10s. 10s, we have 1, 2 fish behind, and 1 passive rake, so I'm opening big. Fuck it, you know. Yeah, I'm easy to read, I'm exploitable, but this guy is not good enough to exploit me, so let's just go for it. On this board, normally we want to bet for protection, but we're against a fish, so we're gonna check. He checked very fast, and now hopefully he has an ace and he doesn't believe us, or he has pocket 4 or pocket 5, anything. We have an ace. He calls, and that's annoying. Not that I'm scared of it. I'm not scared of the flush or the jack. It's just that suddenly I can't really jam for value with his hand. We're going for a nice healthy 2/3. Obviously, don't be afraid of valuing big. He needs snap call, so see, apparently I probably even could have jam here. would have been thin, but not horrible. River with ace-jack on the brick. Ace-jack is not a jam anymore. Okay, yeah, but that's because out of position, there's still some slow play in this range. For example, jack 5, which is a 2 pair. Okay. Let's go back to if the turn is. I'm gonna call nl6. I have a pair. If the turn is a card really good for big blind, like a 6 of heart. Does big blind donk? That's probably. I try to find the least good card for big blind to donk on, and he donks on. Queens, open 4x. Fuck it, you know. When you have a table like this with only fish and like nits, and they're never gonna be able to realize that you have different sizings with different ranges. That when you open big, you have a strong hand. When you open small, you have a medium hand. They will never understand that. So I'm just opening big, and even if they understand that, I will still open big because these tables have such a huge proportion of fish compared to regs that I just don't care to be exploited by 2 regs when I am exploiting 5 fishes. I make money against the fish, not against the reg. So yeah, I'll lose money against regs because a good reg will just notice what I'm doing and he'll just 3-bet me every time I open less than 4 big blind, and he will always fall when I open 4 big blind. But I don't care because the fish will still flat. I mean, these fish are horrible. So, and if you feel offended because I say that, then I don't care. If the turn is a 5, well, we're meant to call flop any 5, right? So 5 is good for oop. So oop would still donk on the 5. Yeah, not that much. Even though we call every 5 on the flop, it doesn't really donk on the 5. Okay, but then another gun is meant to do a lot of check, right? Yeah. Very careful on the 5. What about an 8? An 8 is bad too. Oop, we'll do some donking. 9-6 we open. We're not really meant to open this one, but once again they don't 3-bet behind me, so I get to see the flop very often with a hand that plays multi-waves. Because mostly you need to understand that here when I'm opening, I'm going to be in multi-wave very often. So I don't want to open my ace-8 offsuit, which is meant to open. But I prefer opening knight 5 suited, which is not meant to be opened in theory. Because knight 5 suited plays well in multi-way, ace 8 of suit, no. Okay, so we're also docking on an 8, a bit, not too much. And obviously, and a club, would we donk on a club? I don't think so, right? Yeah, we don't donk on a club. Okay. And check, what do we stab turn? Queen jack, we don't defend. He has only 10% PFR, plus he opened very big, so we're just gonna run and hide. Queen 10 reopening. So out of position is meant to keep checking even sets at a high frequency. This is very normal. King high board for me, I'm always c-betting against fish. King high board is very hard to defend. He called very fast. Turn is an ace. I'm gonna go for a 3-barrel 2/3. 2/3 is an overfolded sizing. This hand is definitely good to keep barreling. I have 2 overcards to the 8, who might still be sticky. A good shot. Some okay blockers. I mean, we don't really care about blockers at these tables, but yeah. And on the turn, obviously, when we stab, it's 2x pot, which nobody does, which I love to do. Okay. So Jack 5, we're meant to see not a lot of check raise, because usually we don't check raise but on 2. Turn is a 7. Interesting. Wow, this card, I have no idea how to play on this card. Let's think about it. Hijack has very little 7s. But Big Blind has this whole range with all of the trash in it, so Big Blind still have to do check a lot of strong hands. Yeah, let's open 4.5 ace king. You might think I'm a giant fish, right? I'm winning nl200 at 9 BB100. The key to win is to table select and to deviate from theory. If I'm playing at a table with regs, I'm just opening GTO ranges, GTO sizings, the whole stuff. When your table has mostly fish, you need to forget all of this. You're just losing money by trying to be unexploitable at a table where nobody is going to exploit you anyway. We're never gonna call this one. He opened it too big. He has 10% PFR, easy fold, obviously. We're even meant to fold this hand if he, oh, quite. Even meant to fold this one in theory if you open a normal sizing. So 7 turn, we are gonna have many sizing here as out of position. Some very big bets. We're definitely gonna overbet 7s because we need protection. We're gonna have some 2/3 with Jack X and maybe even some 1/3 with also some weaker Jack X. And a lot of checks. So I think here there's still definitely a good 60-70% check. But let's see what we do. Right, 70% check. No 1/3. I thought we would have some 1/3 and no 2/3. So we still just polarize ourselves and only bet 7s now and obviously sets. And Ace Jack is no longer a bet. Really interesting. Really interesting. So it would be the same on a 5, obviously, nothing changed. If it's a 5. If it's a flush draw, we keep checking. Yeah, right. Okay. So as you can see, we don't just look at this flop and this special run out, and we try to understand the whole spot and try to take notes on that. Sorry for the cat. I got a very old, grumpy cat. Well, seems like, well, we're just going to see what he does with the Jack-5. Now, obviously, that's a pure check. We could consider deviating from theory and stabbing because population will not protect often enough their checking range, but Jack-5 is on a 7. Jack-5 is not a bet, it's a pure check. Yeah, I opened my ace queen way too, my queen's way too little against these guys. Fuck it, I fuck it up. We are gonna think. They're not too aggressive. They're more like the kind of passive sticky fish. I'm not gonna go for a check raise, that makes no sense. But if they're passive and sticky, we're gonna go for like a pretty big bet and try to stack off. So Jack 5 is going for wins. I'm pretty sure I want to 3-barrel jam and still get called by a 10. But I'm gonna check because when I'm check, he's also gonna overbluff. So I love to check call, and I don't mind 3-barreling. Although because he tanked flop, he doesn't have that many 10. Now I'm not gonna jam. He's too capped. But I mean, okay, his range has some lower pairs like 8, pocket 6, pocket 7. Some 10x, but not so many because he tanked flop and he didn't bet turn. He would bet turn at 10, so he doesn't have many strong hands. So I'm gonna go for a bit less than 10 big blind. It's like a psychological price when you go to the mall and it's 999. If he's not called flop, or that would be another story. I would probably use different sizings there. And Jack 5, we reverse full house. Wow, I have no clue how to play this. I feel like I would go 2/3 here and try to get caught by an ace in his shoes. Now he's playing an L600 against really good players, so he might just okay, zoom for 150, which is fine actually. 150 and ace call 150 pretty easily, right? Ace queen and ace king will call turn when you go 150. So, well, we're definitely gonna play these two hands, ace king and ace 10 suited, and then we're just gonna call it a day. So very bad board for us, decent for him. He checked back very fast. He kept himself. I'm not gonna use this as a reason to bluff because I have shoulder value. Ace king with 3-bet. We go for a big 3-bet because fuck it. I should have probably even go for a bigger 3-bet. And ace 10, I check. Yeah, I'm checking. I could bluff here. He never have a flush. It's annoying because I can make him fold pocket 4, pocket 3, pocket 5. But yeah, in theory I should really not bluff here. Wow, he's donking here. What is that? A donking half pot in a 3-bet pot. If I jam here, will he overcall or overfold? Well, he's definitely going to overcall his pocket jack, his 10x. So I'm just going to call. And if he checks, we... I don't think I should jam here. Yeah. Easy call. Good luck us. We hit the river. Good enough to jam. I don't have the pot odds. If the river gets there, it's just so obvious that I have it. This guy will never call. We're gonna do a bit of cinema, then we're gonna ask for the rest of his money. King, queen, we were ahead the whole time. A little donation, that's pretty nice. We're gonna take a note on this guy. Donk 50, donk 50, bluff, 3-bet pot. That's a fold. He's too short stack. Actually, I could call. Yeah, I could call. Normally you, if you look at a chart, you never call this hand, but it's a fish. So his 3-bet range is just really messy. There's a lot of random like king 8 suited and yeah, king 8 suited dominate us, but we can always bluff later. But maybe when it's close, it's just better to make our life easy. You know, I just fold. Ace king we have. I'm sorry, I just have to show you these hands. I just can't stop the video. Ace king we have to call. Turn he check with a rebluff. That's just such an easy bluffing spot. We say we have a straight, my sir. I have a straight, bro. No, I'm kidding, I don't. Remember I bluffed you, please, so that next time I just value super big. And that's enough for today. So hope you liked it, hope you learned some stuff as I did. And maybe, who knows, see you soon.